That's actually a new company coming out now that I'm a part of. I'm happy to be with. Basically, right now we're concentrating most on the media side. That's why you see the magazines out there. We are going to start going into the apparel aspect of mixed martial arts. And you know what? I see a lot of companies out there that that are going out, tap out, and I think that have improved. But I think that it's a gateway into our youth's mind. Is a lot of the merchandise or a lot of anything that goes out there. You think about basketball. You don't think Nike, their commercials, has an influence on how children view certain sports. And so by me doing this company Suffer and being part of it, I get to convey some of the ideas and beliefs that I have as a martial artist into the youth. I see too many guys now that I think they forget sometimes that there is an entertainment aspect, and I blame myself for this also now as of recently. We want to sell fights, so sometimes we have to do things. We try to make things look a certain way. Taking notes almost out of even pro wrestling. I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali, so certain things I'll just leave to Muhammad Ali. He does a lot better than I do. But I think there's a real aspect to being a martial artist that I think that sometimes people lose in our sport. It's not just about shaving your head and having tattoos and earrings and wearing a tap-out shirt and saying that you're, because you train, jiu-jitsu, you can kill somebody. Or, geez, sorry guys, I'm just stuck in that word. I never realized how many times I said that. That you can beat someone up in a fight. And so with the Suffer thing, the reason why I like it is because the samurai actually, back when in the Tokugawa shogunate, here I'm going to give you a real long answer. Not me, right? The samurai were always warring, right? It was a feudal Japan, and there was constant battles. But back in the 1600s, for 250 years, a relatively peaceful era. So you had a whole cast of classic warriors that had nothing to do with life, that they were kind of lost. I think a lot of times in our society we have the same issue. You see a lot of men that are very strong and independent, and I think sometimes we're misguided. And I think that's when a lot of our youth gets in trouble, and they do things because they don't know what it's like to have an identity, to be a warrior. And so the Hakaguri was written by Yamamoto because it was to describe how samurai were supposed to conduct themselves in a time when it wasn't really, you weren't able to go and do battle. And right now, that's kind of how we are with the modern society and the way everybody is more civilized now. I think there's a part of the human soul to become stagnant. I think that when you do that, you have problems, and I can point throughout all our country all the issues that continue to happen. And so there's the second verse in the book that talks about suffering. How constant suffering and diligence and training hard is what makes you a great warrior. That decadence and indulgence makes you soft and weak, and you're of no use to anybody, your family, or whoever you pray to, or in any which way or form. And so that's why I like the word suffer, because I think that if you look at everybody, if we look at our own sides and our own lives, when you suffer is when you're the greatest. I'd rather fight a guy who's coming off of 11 wins in a row than fight a guy that's coming off of 3 losses. Because we know that guy with 3 losses knows his back's against the wall. He's been suffering, he's in pain, he's hurting, and he's going to be a very vicious human being.
Even though you had a win against Congo, do you feel like you're still suffering somewhat?
Yeah, well, I think that we got to constantly, you put yourself through it. I think that your own worst critic, anybody who's content with their own. My wife, my family, my father, they're very good at keeping me kind of tempered in that way. Sometimes I'm not satisfied with what I do. And so you can kind of, I think that when you see people, not that they ever deal with depression or anything, but as far as just, you can be too hard on yourself. And I think sometimes, even my game room, you've been to my home, my wife made the whole room for me just so that way I can sit there and look up at some of the awards I've had. Because up at that point, the heavyweight belt was sitting inside of my closet, I didn't put it out. People would ask to see it, I'm like, really, you care? Like, they're like, where's the belt? I'm like, at one point I had left it in the Navigator in my car for like 2 weeks and took it to the car wash. People were like, is that the belt back there? I'm like, yeah. Why? Once you win, it doesn't mean anything. Now it's the next battle, But then the wife's like, no, not that you have to sit back and really, and be content with your progression, but man, the minute you stop to look around and enjoy where you're at, I think that you're not walking up the mountain anymore. And then, you constantly got to battle your way up. I read the idea of any of my children actually fighting for a living and making money as a martial artist. My dad laughs at me because that makes him mad, because he has to sit outside the octagon and watch me do it, but it's just, I don't want to have to repeat that process. I'm sorry. I want my children, to be lawyers, and my daughter has to be a baby doctor. My boys are going to be lawyers. That's my goal in life. But I want them to be martial artists. I want them, to live the lifestyle that I live, as far as the discipline and the approach and the reason why you get up and train in the morning. And every day I get up, I'm like, oh, can I do this a little bit better? Can I push myself a little bit harder there? Can I improve here? I think that's important. I think it gives you a direction in life. And but getting paid to do it professionally is very scary because, I mean, I've made it now, but in hindsight, you know, how many guys out there are training and dedicating their life to this that don't make a financial living off of it? And I don't think any father wants that for his child. You want him to be able to be financially secure. So I want my children to, they have to train, you know, and, you know, Marcus knows I want him to be a martial artist, but as far as, you know, he and I are the only, so far we're starting to butt heads on that one. I think he's going to go and fight. And they can do amateur fights, and they can even have a professional career if they want to fight on the side. But as far as giving up their day job for it, I don't want that. I want them to be able to go to work during the day with a suit and tie and then come home, take it off, and go to the gym and teach class and be a part of it and enjoy all the things that benefit from it without the stress of going, well, I mean, think about it. As a fighter, I can go to work every day for 3 months, right? Train impeccably well, right? Perfectly. I go have a bad night and I just cut my pay drastically, right? On the same note, I can mess around and not go to the gym, coach calling you up where you at, show up on fight night, catch the guy on the chin, he goes to sleep, and now I get rewarded for what? That's how stressful. Try to go to sleep every night realizing that's what life's like for you. No matter what kind of effort you put forth, there's no guarantee. Almost in every other profession, hard work always equates to success. In my profession, not so much.
You know, speaking of gym, you basically just opened up this gym. Is it officially open? Tell us a little bit about that.
This would be more of a private training facility. You know, I'm going to bring in more of the professional athletes that are in our sport. Give us an area to train at. And my main thing about opening up this gym was I just wanted a place where I know, I mean, like yesterday my dogs are running around, my kids coming and train. I go to other gyms and my children are bouncing off the cage or climbing on the ropes and I'm getting funny looks. And I understand, you know, they got to make a living, that's their business. The way I look at it now is no one's paying my bills to be here. It's a privilege to be here now. There's no charge, you know. And so if you don't like the fact that my kids are jumping up on the couch, there's a tap-out gym, there's other gyms, go train at Fosse or something, I don't care. But if you like to bring your kids here too and they can play with my kids and we can all be a family and all be warriors and we train hard inside the octagon or whatever, you know, and the wife's sitting there and they can talk to each other about what movie we got to go see and get dragged to that night. That's the environment I want to be in. That's me. That's just because this is not really just my business. This is my lifestyle. This is my way of life. I don't want someone to dictate that I can't bring my family here because that's what means most to me. I mean, everybody makes jokes, but when I went to the Czech Congo fight, Tuesday I'm flying in. I got my baby strapped to my chest, who's only 7 months old. My next youngest son, Cage, fell asleep, so I'm trying to position him over the top of the arm. Marcus is holding Bella, and we're trying to pull our strollers, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy, like, you fighting in a couple days, are you going to be okay? I'm like, honestly, did I not look okay when I walked into that octagon? Did I not look content? If I had not had my children with me, I would not have been the same. I fought overseas before with my family not there, and the results were not good. I don't perform well without my family around me. Everybody has their own things that they draw strength from, and I draw it from my family.